Next speakers are going to be Josh May and Brandon Boucher. They are partners with Ocean State Community Energy. They actually met at Standing Rock when they were protesting the Dakota Access Pipeline. So pretty cool way to meet somebody, in my opinion. And on top of that, they're currently working on with the tribal government on building a solar, wind, and microgrid energy storage system to power the Standing Rock Reservation. Today they'll have a few slides to share about Progressive Dems and Ocean State Community Energy's project. So I will open it up to them and give them a nice round of applause.
Thank you very much, Capri. And it's exciting always to have the Sunrise movement and folks with us. It's, I don't know about anyone else, but I think it's one of the most incredible and inspiring organizations that has come along in the last 4 or 5 years, and they're really pushing the envelope. So thank you for being here. My name is Joshua May. I'm with Ocean State Community Energy. My partner, Brandon Boucher. Yeah. And we are going to tell you about a really exciting, complex project in 10 minutes. And that's going to be a little bit of a challenge for us because we usually can't wrap up an introduction in 5 or 10 minutes. So bear with us. So first of all, who is Ocean State Community Energy? As Capri said, Brandon and I met in Standing Rock with the water protectors when we were leading veterans to Standing Rock in 2016. We were part of an organization that became known as Veterans Service Corps and formed a relationship with the Lakota Sioux, where they have gifted a 50-acre ranch to the organization, and we currently have a team out in South Dakota, as a matter of fact, working with veterans and also working on renewable economic development for the reservation. So we had a passion for this from day one. Ocean State Community Energy is a joint venture of ReVenture, which is a company that I started in 2013, and Brandon's company, 4E Energy. We've worked with a number of municipalities and business clients throughout the last 7 to 10 years. And we are incredibly passionate about what we're trying to do here with the Rhode Island Progressive Democrats here in Rhode Island. So let's move on here, perfect. Phase 1 was last year. We started around the middle of August, and we were asked to look at turning Cranston, being able to show that we could turn Cranston to 100% renewable energy by 2030. And what's a little bit different from a lot of these other plans that you're hearing out there is that we're trying to do this in a decade, and we're trying to do it including heat, HVAC, and transportation. So that's where, there's a little bit of a twist here and a little bit of an additional challenge being put forward. I'm not going to go through all the numbers, but basically what we were able to do is show that through solar, onshore, offshore wind efficiency, and mixing in a shareable microgrid, we were not only able to get to 100% of what Cranston's energy needs are right now, we were able to show that we can also add in the transportation and heating piece. So now we're on to phase 2. And phase 2 becomes a statewide feasibility study, where we'll be going through and working with all 39 municipalities to show where the strengths are on the renewable side, on the efficiency side, and on the grid and storage side of things. The report is, or a summary of the report is going to be out in the beginning to middle of August, with the entirety of the report by the end of 2020. Next slide. So let's now, what we're going to do is just quickly go through 3 of the main pieces that we were talking about in the Cranston report and where we are moving things in the phase 2 study as well. Starting with solar, one of the things that we were tasked with by the Rhode Island Progressive Democrats and the folks that we were talking to about this project from the beginning was they wanted us to be able to put this together with 0 green space being used whatsoever. So that is where we started from within this project. We are working with companies that are next generation in solar mapping technology, So as many of you know, the price of solar has been coming down for years. That's mostly been through the manufacturing side of things. This is Clean.Tech, who you'll meet later. They are a solar company that has, through AI and drone technology, really worked on the pathway between when you're doing the mapping and coming up with the actual projects and the actual project being completed. And that's where they're starting to squeeze even more savings into the process. We're going to be introducing some additional and sort of, out of the box on residential programs for solar, commercial solar programs, and then we're also going to be putting out a number of recommendations for municipal sites and having mapped those out for the municipalities in this roadmap. And now I'm going to turn things over to Brandon, and he's going to walk you through the wind energy and the grid piece of the initiative.
How's it going, everybody? Good. Very glad that you're here. This is actually one of the biggest pieces that I'm really passionate about. Wind is a renewable energy source that, as long as the wind is blowing, you're producing energy. Offshore wind in the state of Rhode Island, you guys have 2 projects in the pipeline. Those will account for a portion of the offshore power. We have a efficient onshore wind technology, which is the world's first urban vertical dual access wind production system. These are actually designed to go anywhere. Urban is one of the places that we really looked at because Cranston had urban, rural, and coastal. Now the entire state can actually benefit from this. Ocean State is actually the leader in offshore wind technology right now, and we're going to help move that forward. We do need to go over some necessary regulation changes with the state assembly, and that's actually going to be part of this. But the same thing with the optimal mapping that we have with solar, we can also employ that for our wind generation capabilities as well. And all of this is tied together: solar, wind, tidal, and micro hydro. These are all tied to a decentralized, shareable smart grid. What this means is that a smart grid alone can add upwards of 30% efficiency to whatever power is being generated. They are constantly generating, and with a shared storage solution, actually storing 24/7 energy that's actually available. This actually creates a resilient system that, regardless of power outage or power loss or a catastrophic event, can continue to use power. So we're going to first start looking at this with emergency services, hospitals, hotels, ATMs, services that stay up regardless or need to actually stay up regardless. Our goal is to keep generation, transportation, storage, and consumption local. Whether that's building municipalities, residential and commercial plans, we're going to have redundant energy generation, which means our systems are a combination of wind, solar, and whatever other energy system can be used with the topography that we're actually using. And these are all going to be tied into a shared smart microsystem, a shared smart storage solution, which actually load balances and keeps the grid at optimal level based on technology.
So as we started to look at this initiative and the amount of time that we were going to need to put everything together, and listening closely to what the top scientists in the world are saying to everyone right now, which is basically we need to get to 100% renewable in the 2030 to 2035 time frame. We did not want to just be focused on being out there in the field and collecting data and putting together what could potentially be a roadmap for the state. We wanted to actually bring in some partners that we've worked with in the past. We wanted to spur some economic growth within the state while we were going through the process of the feasibility report. So these are just a couple of our clean technology partners. You can actually hear from a few of them tonight. Energy professionals, you'll be hearing from Jim in a few minutes. Sonnen, which is a company that is working on the grid. White Leaf, which is the company that brought that great B wind example that you see outside. Clean.tech, who I've already spoken about, and then B Wind, who's teamed up with White Leaf. These are just 5 of about 10 or 11 companies that we have partnered with for strategic partnerships or strategic vendor situations. One thing I want to say quickly about this before we move on, and hopefully we're doing well on time. One of the main points of this entire process is to grow the economy in Rhode Island. So everyone that's involved in this process, whether they're from Rhode Island or not, they've committed to hiring and working with only Rhode Island laborers and entrepreneurs in advancing these individual technologies and services. So that is something that's a focus with every single one of our partners. And if you have a company yourself in renewable energy, sustainability, energy efficiency, and you're based in Rhode Island, we would like to talk to you. If you know folks that are doing something exciting in the state that you haven't heard about, either from the Rhode Island Progressive Democrats or on our website, please ask them to introduce themselves. We're looking to work with whoever and whatever technologies and services are out there in the state. So, why are we excited about this, and why do we think that Rhode Island is on the cutting edge? Well, we put together this report in about 12 weeks, and during that time, just during that time, while we thought we were keeping things under wraps, we had organizations or state officials from Maine, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon reach out to us to either ask to follow what was going on here and be brought up to date with our progress, or wanted to have something like this put together for them as well. So that was kind of a proof of concept that that the 2030 timeline, while very aggressive and certainly challenging, is something that does gain a little bit of traction out there and is exciting, because those that are listening to the scientists understand where we're at right now. Rhode Island's in a unique position because you already have the first offshore wind farm in the United States. You have 2 projects that have already been approved, although we'll see how they meander through the entire permitting process depending upon what happens here in 2020. And you've got a really tight sort of economy and group of municipalities that, while we certainly hear plenty of cracks from folks that live in these towns when we go around and visit, there's a lot of opportunity for some pretty exciting designs and programs and plans to happen in the state of 1 million people. That was the state that brought the Industrial Revolution to the United States. So why not make it the birthplace of the renewable energy economy as well? So the best way to sort of learn a little bit more about us, if you're not able to reach out to us tonight at the end of the evening, please reach out to us on our website. It's oceanstatece.com. You can sign up there for updates on what's going to be happening here throughout 2020. You can also let us know about any other companies that you'd like to work with, or that we should be working with. And also, if you would like to be involved as a volunteer or work with the Rhode Island Progressive Democrats on the sort of marketing and publicity campaign that will be going around this project throughout the year. As most of you know, there's an election coming up this year, and the timing of the August release of the summary is to bring some pressure to bear on folks that are running in that election to state one way or the other whether they're going to be in favor of a plan this ambitious or whether it's just not in their sights. And that will hopefully help all of you and your fellow citizens to make decisions on who you're going to vote for in the next election. So, Capri. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight.
One change. The website is actually .info, not .com, because it's an information site. So if you go to that one, probably nothing will come up.
Make a note of that, I suppose.